All right, welcome to About Rhetoric 2, video 2. So as we were saying in the previous video, that encompassing, right, although sometimes it might not be as pronounced or it might not be as obvious in some cases. To purpose of review real quick, I am the rhetor kind of in this particular situation, or sometimes we call it the speaker, right? Or when we're reading somebody's right, the author. Purpose to convey and talk to you about and identify and help you understand why rhetoric is important in this particular video and how we're going to be using it, right? Not only in this class, but for this particular assignment, the rhetorical analysis. That's my purpose. Audience, you, right? And it's in the context of this is for a classroom, right? It's an online classroom more specifically, right? So I'm trying to do so that means something, right? That means I need to do different things than I would perhaps in a live classroom where we would maybe think about this differently. Have you maybe you do the reading, read this before we get to class, and then we do something with it in a live classroom where we don't have that necessarily that luxury in an asynchronous online class, right? So that's our context. And so we look at that. We'll also look at that too, right? With every single one of the whatever article you choose as a rhetorical analysis, you'll be trying to figure out what the context is, right? Who's the rhetor? What was their purpose? Who is their primary audience? What is the context? What created this need, right, or this situation? So I'm going to scoot on down as I want you to read kind of about appropriateness and kairos. Obviously, is an important aspect to speaking about the context. You know what created the need for this event. But the three rhetorical appeals in our rhetorical analysis we're going to look at very specifically are going to be logos, ethos, and pathos. Some of you may or may not be familiar, but for the purpose of review, logos has to do with the reasoning or the logic in somebody's speaking, right? What is the logical progression? Is there a certain use of reason? Hey, if I can get you to understand this, then I want you to understand that, and then understand this, and then understand that. Conclusion would be this thing, right? So in our articles, we'll look to find to see if any type of reasoning is used. A lot of times you can find where they're trying to appeal to the audience's logos or appeal to their reason. A lot of times this will be in facts, right? Or percentages, as we have here, right? 37% more effective than the competition. They're appealing to the reasoning side of your brain. Pathos is the emotional appeal, right? So someone's trying to pull on your heartstrings, right? That could be in the music, right? In a commercial, right? When you're reading something, someone's really telling maybe a very, very particular heartwarming, right? Heart-wrenching, sometimes gut-wrenching story that really makes you feel something that's different than appealing to reason, where reason is kind of like fact-related. Pathos is going to be more emotionally charged, right? They're appealing to your emotion. That's what pathos is about. So we'll look for that in the articles. If someone's trying to get across a point or getting someone to think something, believe something, or do something, pathos appeal at times pulling on an emotion or getting an emotion sparked will be something that will almost seen. I would say most of them. Ethos is the credibility of the speaker. Who is the speaker? What gives them the right to speak? Do they have the credentials to speak? So like for this class, one of the first, the welcome videos, maybe I spoke a little bit about myself, but there's a thing on there, about me at the top of the page, for this course, kind of listing my credentials. Well, it's assumed that I passed the credentials at Oakland University to be able to sit here. I have other things that I've done, perhaps, or whatever that may, mean something to you that shows and demonstrates that this is something I can do, and that maybe I can help in some ways in the context of its classroom. So this is where ethos, not only just that, but then I'm constantly building my ethos with you, right? Every single time I'm in front of you. I don't just sit there and go, okay, hey, I've got the credentials. Here's the stuff to learn, right? I still have to continually work on that ethos, that I have what it takes to be a good instructor, right? To be a good teacher. And a lot of that has to do with understanding the context, right? To understand that I'm missing some things that we don't normally get to do in an online class. And so maybe thinking of different ways to do that and making sure that I'm providing enough information and answering as many questions as possible ahead of time so you can be successful in the class, right? I'm constantly working on my ethos. And so we'll look for those things. We'll talk more specifically about those as we get into, we'll be looking at examples, right? And here's a good example about Rachel Ray. But anyway, all right. That's it for About Rhetoric for now. All right, guys, I'll be back with the video shortly. You got 2 seconds. Bye. Stay safe.